Anyway, ball blitz 6 here. There should be no other ball blitz but me. So anyway, back to the topic. That light. Oh, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to do an overview of Ccna from what I can just remember out my head. Like I said, it's no different than words. You put a meaning behind it. You just put a meaning behind it and hope everyone go along with it. And with Ccna or computer networking, it's like 50 billion different infinite versions of it. It's not even a real one. Anyway, this is most of people are less fortunate to learn a class that can be taught in high school or be taught to people, or since there are groups after that taught themselves how to do it, like myself. And now knowledge has been here for others. But it really doesn't matter to me. You're on an A team or the B team, or you're on my team. And since my team always win, I'm not that worried about it. Anyway, this topic, I'm going to try to explain from the beginning to the end. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, for where I'm at right now. I'm not going to go off what I know. But anyway, from the beginning, a group of people made networking. They got me to find out about it. I say, yeah, we're going to come out your pocket with that. And so, yeah. And then it expanded to, certain areas. But there was a problem with it. The original networking system was Morse code, or a telecommunication form of service. And then they move up from a wire that have the ability to vibrate, and then it went from there to Morse code to radar to signal to phones, and then went from phones to that have sound to phones that can hold in sound, and it went from phones that can hold in sound to network, and it went from network that have very ancient wires buried in the ocean by the world. How are we getting hacked? Well, you have wires in those countries. How are you not getting hacked? How do you not know you're getting hacked? And so now, there's wires from everywhere, a certain part of the planet, from the US to the rest of the world, and from the rest of the world to here. The class is telling me that USA was the first people to came up with networking, and then spread it to the whole world, and blah, blah, blah. And every other country have their own freaking storyline or whatever. And so, boom, you have internet. The internet is not owned by anyone. No one owns the internet. Not legally anyway. Internet is nothing more than a signal that anyone can pull out their bullcrap anus and boom, you have internet. But the internet is controlled by a group of people under the IEE, the ICA, the CIA, the TIA standards. There's both private, personal, and private. Private, which is proprietary, there's business, there's governmental, there's state, and then there's public. You can buy your own IP stuff, and you can blah, 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 etc., etc., etc. But the problem is you can't buy a signal. No. Some of it's free, because any signal that's unknown, it's free until you find it, unless they like it, then it's gonna come out your pocket. But anyway, what's my screen at? Anyway, back to the topic. The first kind of internet was dial-up. I'm not sure you young people remember that, but that was fun. Dial-up was those telephones. You used the telephone, the telecommunications, or a phone call, the radio wave signal travel through a wire into your phone, right? So instead of going into the phone jack into your phone, you go from the phone jack into your computer. You know how computer was at that time. No video, just words. It's like a small script. And then they finally started advancing the computer technology. And then material engineering started advancing. Material engineering for life. and the ability to expand on the phone technology help expand the networking of computers and stuff. Instead of just voice using radio waves, they use sound waves, signal waves, light waves, all that stuff. And then due to the technology increasing in the computers, oh my, can I find my screen now? Due to the technology increasing the computer, you no longer had just that writing stuff. The stuff that this words on, you have signal, voice, video. Not only wasn't just send, you didn't have like those super big wires to send. You could send it on a small wire or send it with small stuff. Now you can send and receive on two separate wires. That is called a half duplex, where actually a single duplex, where one wire send and one wire receive, and then it's transcribed from their end to your end. And now it got more complicated, become half duplex, where the wire can send or receive at one given time. Then we got full duplex, where you can send and receive at the same time, etc. Bam. It is accomplished by the hardware that's in the equipment or the materials that you use. I brought a screen down here. Okay, it's not out in the open. It means very somewhere. And then the textiles got blah blah blah. The networking interface cord is what determines the internet in your computer. It's either a hard line, Ethernet network, or a wireless wireless local area network or wide area network cord. So you can have one in there network interface cord with both of them. Network interface internet core operate on its own signal, while the wireless activate on its own signal as well, but it's through the network interface cord. The Bluetooth signal is similar to both of them, but they operate on a different frequency than the wireless and local. Bluetooth have a more limited range than wireless. While wireless is determined by the equipment you're using, the hardware you're using, as well as far as your router or tower is. In terms of wireless for internet, it has how far you are from your router. In terms of wireless outside your house, how far your router is from the tower. Yeah, I know I'm being hacked. I usually trash people, so don't worry about it. Hardline is determined as the equipment or material you're using, the type of computer you have, the hardware you have, and the type of wire it is, and who you're going to, what business you provide. At the moment of time, fiber optics is the fastest one, and there's like 4 varieties of fiber optics. And the one right behind fiber optics is called Axle, which is copper or aluminum. And that depends on how well that is made. And then there's UTP and STP wiring. That is the worst one. A term is service provided to your location or business. Exactly. And then there's DSL, which is digital subscriber lineup or direct service lineup. That is considered good, but depends on what service you provide, because that service can be real sucky or real good. We all know what dial-up is, so. Anyway, that's probably the worst one, dial-up. It's worse than DSL. Well then, I guess I'll get mine on the screen now. Anyway, the materials that you use will determine your internet and how good your internet service provider are. According to y'all President Trump, who gave this prick the ability for business control their internet speed. Now, I'm gonna give you a sample. Y'all know about me with this, y'all know. I am the only one in this area. Actually, there's 4 other people in this entire area who had at that time the gigabyte internet. Where's my screen at? I know I have one. No. I can back to that too. Oh man, since I was delivery. Anyway, gigabyte internet is currently the fastest internet. Gigabyte internet is not gigabyte as in like the large hard drive. Gigabyte internet is how much data you can use from an internet service provider, and the bandwidth of that form of internet is the speed. Now download and upload. Download is how much signal or how fast your service provider you to download it. Upload is how fast you can send in to get the download. Now that's dual put, that's good put, and that's straight put. Good put is how much data is allowed at one time throughout the internet. Throughput is how much data is allowed at a specific time and how much data in that specific time that can get through the internet. Straight put is how much data that is going through the actual internet. Now, bandwidth is the speed of travel. So in other words, if someone slows, you can tell if someone slows your internet down on purpose, GCI. The funny thing is that I told GCI ahead of time before I personally, I was working on computers, right? Oh, really? Why are you? I was A, computer engineer. B, a tech engineer. / C, a Ccna worker. D, I also set up telecommunication. E, I also put up phone lines. I did a lot of stuff. Don't worry about it. So, fun stuff. The funny thing is that I literally read the contract. Just think of going in the military. I read the life out of the contract. Now, one time they said they was freaking slow my internet down. Not one time. And hey, all of a sudden, we had to slow your internet down because they changed the contract all facility in the middle. But we can slow your internet down to share it with other people. I'm paying $200 for my internet. No one else is paying $200 for my internet. They want my internet. They can pay $200 for my internet, but I'll still be the owner and I still be the user. But anyway, they say, oh, sorry, we had to share your internet. Why is there fair use law? Fair use law, what is that? Well, if you pay something for this, you have to share it. How does that work? I'm literally the only one in this area that have that freaking speed of internet. Anyway, I was like, I'm paying $200 for my own internet, and you want me to share it with pricks who doesn't even pay for my internet? Like, yeah, it's a law. No, it's not. It's a law in Alaska. No, it's not. I like that before I get here. I'm like, you can't say that. Yeah, I can. But don't worry though, I knew this was gonna happen because the last 5 times I've been up and someone told me about y'all. So ahead of time, I already caught a place for y'all. Don't worry about it. You can't do that. Yeah, I can. Here we go, straight now. Anyway. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Breach your contract, blah, blah, blah. It's like a lot of stuff. I need to sue those prick as well. Anyway, back to Ccna. The standard protocols before I go into for how the internet, there's over 50 billion protocols. Most widely known in America is the OSI model, which is just a set up, how to set the internet up, and there's a TCP IP model, which is just a theoretical setup. Now, OSI model has 7 layers. The TCP IP model has 4 layers. The TCP model is more of the internet network application. The OSI model is more of the how to. It's everything that deals with it. It's 7 layers compared to 4. The OSI model starts from physical layer to the data link layer to the transport layer to the network layer to the internet layer to the session layer and to the presentation to the application. I don't know if that's 6 or 7. TCP is just network, internet, application, and transport. Now, This way it gets confusing because, like I said, this standard is then broke up even more based on countries and who teaching or where you learn it from. There's Comp Ccna, there's Cisco Ccna, then there's Data Ccna, then there's Network Ccna, then there's Telecommunication Network Ccna. It's like a bunch of bullcrap. Anyway, these are two ends that start off. There's the application and physical layer. Physical layer is the physical layer of network, or it can be your physical end of your action. The application layer is the application end of your network, and also the application end of physical way of network. Like go on your computer, which is physical, but it's also the application because you have to use it to go into the web browser and stuff. Blah. The transport layer is segments, and then the data link layer begin the encoding encapsulation for the transport layer. You get segment, and then after the transport layer was a network analytic, it's begin the more encoding encapsulation data link. And then it adds the frame header after that, and then it adds the whole protocol data unit. At the start of that is a header on your data, what you send and what you receive. It's on all layers. Whether they go into the application, breaks off, then get decoded or encoded. It depends on where you start from, where you the sender or receiver. Yes. Oh man, this is gonna spill. Now, we got that down. Segmenting, which is breaking stuff into parts where you can send it. Encapsulating, which wrap data into a data, which is like encapsulating pills and stuff. And then encoding, which is coded in a unique way meant for the sender and receiver to get to. Now, that's basically the basics of it, the models, both TCP and IP. Both of these models have most of the same thing, but the main thing that's different is that 7 layers, 4 layers, and what standard you're going by each of those layers. There's IPv and IPv6 that's usually in TCP IP model, but the IPv4 and IPv6 is also on the other side, but it doesn't fully describe it. Now we got that out of the way, we're going to talk about more advanced stuff. IPv4 is the Internet Protocol version 4. It's more simpler to use. It's fast, but it's had a lot of space, but it's not that much space like IPv6, but it's more vulnerable. It has a horrible encoding and transport. You can get hacked in it easy. And then there's IPv6, which is better. There's more space because of what's current. It's more reliable. I don't know why they moved to it, but whatever. Excuses. The question is, what's IPv5, 3, and 2, and 1? Well, this is not taught in class, and this is something that should be universal, even though I'm not going to go into my details about it. IPv1 is the very first form of internet. That's the experimental one. Then IPv2 is the application use, debate use, and then wherever after that. Anyway, now we got both versions out of it. Then we get into the network itself. There's wireless. There's only two forms of internet. There's wireless and there's wired. Wireless, you can have it operate on a radio wave or it's radio wave, and then electrical will operate off of electrical signal patterns. But fiber optic is electrical signal pattern. It is pulse of light. Now, wireless have its own frequency, like 803.33 or 804.44 and stuff like that. Local, that Bluetooth, all that stuff has their own versions. Those are determined by the international companies and stuff, but it's different variety depending on which one you go for. Now, time to go to the next level, which is the hardware itself. And yes, fiber optic is the best, but it's expensive. It is a bendable, flexible glass that's made with zinc, aluminum oxide, and copper or gold. It depends on whatever combination. It carries a light pulses on the end, and you know how fast light travel, according to them. Crap, that's gonna spill. So, that being said, that's taken into consideration. That's why it's the fastest. It's good and all. It has, out of all of them, it has the best uphill signal, but downhill is pretty sucky. Uphill, downhill means that it's better to go over something than go under something. but that's not gonna fit. And then there's copper, which is the most universal one. That would depend on what material the copper is made of, what's protecting with the interface, and how the setup is. There's coaxial, there's STP, there's UTP, and then there's the connectors on top of that, and then there's your hardware on top of that. And then we got internet service provider on top of that. Like I said, last 3 states, I had gigabyte internet. No problem. The most I ever spent for it was like $180, which eventually became $80. Here, I'm like, okay, give me this $200 internet. Good. Sorry, but you have to share your internet. I'm paying $200 for my internet to share with other pricks. That's not gonna happen. But anyway, then they throttled me. Right. We didn't throttle you. Yeah, you did. I can see it throttled me. What you using? You gotta use all that stuff. You know that's a tactic everybody uses, and I keep telling them, who you think you're playing with? I say, oh, I'm sorry. And then my internet never go down again. Apparently people up here don't know better. But there's no worry about it. No worry about it. Like I said. Anyway. They were doing that way before it became legal to throw the internet. I mean, you know, like Comcast or Xfinity. Yeah, Comcast. You know. Also, my identity got stolen. Only up here. Even though I've been taking my credit since last year. Anyway. Next level. Setting up your internet. There's switches, there's routers, there's plugs to hotspots. Plugs to hotspots. There's towers you can set up. You can even make your own tower. Depending on the type of switch you have for your internet, will determine the output and input. Switch is nothing more than determining which computer or who's or which company or which business or which house is going to go to. Now, the router is mostly the router or the modem as a default gateway. Default gateway is the IP address assigned to you by your internet service provider. And that is constantly changing. That's not changing. Like 6 states ago, I made my own internet. I didn't buy an internet service provider, and one of them, it wasn't like my company, it was a person who I helped build the company, asked me why I would say default gateway. I told them they reset their modem entirely, which means you had to get assigned a new IP address, you had to pay for it. No. It's just you were setting your modem, the randomizer coming in, because it's controlled by the DHCP, and then et cetera, et cetera. So like, okay. So you can make a custom default gateway all you want. If you attach to an internet service provider, more or less likely it's gonna turn off on you and you have to call in on it. But it's always best to make your own default gateway. If you go to buy through internet service provider, it's always best to buy your own modem at all costs. You know how they say they don't? They can, because I did it before. Always best to buy your own modem. My last 50 modems. Anyway. You can make your own IP address. You can make your own default gateway, your own subnet, etc., etc., etc. Now, a MAC address is what's built in from the company. There can never be 2 MAC addresses, ever. There have been a few times, because what I read, but this have been, but whatever. 2 MAC address. A MAC address is embedded inside your circuit board of your computer, that's how I know people can be called, but don't be. Because you have to buy the computer, and our MAC address determine where they bought it from, when it was bought it from, who was bought it from, what made it, what company made it, what company went to, what box it was in, the serial number, etc., etc., etc. What time it was sold. That MAC address is burned in your computer. You can only change that by another internet request, which also go in the system. Now, an IP address, which is different from MAC, because MAC is always decimal address, which means it's powered by 16. If you see like 5A, 6D, BB, or semicolon, dash, or space, that's a MAC address or a hexadecimal form of address. Now, something like, which is universal with 172.10.10.0 or 172.10.10.1, it's always mostly every computer own address, and then your internet's address, which is the thing that people hack on away, is the IP address. That's all. Then that has become a different number entirely, which is most likely, aka your default gateway, which is your router or modem IP address that's assigned by that computer into the modem router, which is then get assigned by another one into the company. Yeah. Now, IP address is a binary, which is binary decimal, which is a power of 2, which means it's usually start with 3 numbers, then another 3 numbers, then 2 numbers, and then 1 number, or 3 numbers 2 1, or 3 2 2 2, or 3 1 1 1 numbers. Now, those are zeros and ones. Each of those zeros and ones have their own value. Decimal is power of 2, so you go 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and then you don't go up from 8, and then you, on the bottom of it, you go by 4, 8, up, 4, 8, 12, up to like 128, and then that's binary. And then hexadecimal is a power of 16, so you go 0, 4, 8, 12, 16, and then you start over and you go higher and higher on the bottom. It's just that simple. I'm not going to talk about conversion right now because I had to write it down so a demonstration. So, what makes us next level of networking is equipment. Back to the equipment again. Copper is the standard form of electrical. There's aluminum, there's been zinc, and there's been some other stuff, but that's an entirely different class. But this is just network. Copper, aluminum, light, and wireless. How well your copper is protected, how the equipment set up, is what you get for your internet speed. The problem with that is crosstalks, there's cross interference, then there's hacking, directing, there's filtering, there's packet pickup, there's send around, there's phishing, etc. There's virus, there's spyware, there's adware, there's malware, etc., 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 etc. That's in Ccna or NOSSA, which is the one I took. Known obstacle of security administration. Ccna is computer controlled networking security administration. Yeah, that's the third one. I didn't mention that one. There's another one. But anyway, if you want your network protected, always hide your SSID, make a new password, change everything entirely, then call in. But there's a problem with that. My situation, dudes back in my areas are doing it. / government, / police, / mafia, / accuser. I'm like, you think you get trashed the first time by me, but didn't Alec tell y'all? Didn't I decimate the last time? Hold on. I see there's no reasoning with you people. Didn't I decimate y'all mouses the last time we, had this problem again? But don't worry, I just need to keep killing since no one's left. Down. But anyway, another parts of the networking. If it's your network, if you buy a network from an internet service provider, hopefully buy your own modem. But if you don't, you can still go in and change it since it's on your network. Legality, you can go all the way from you to the modem, from the modem back to the networking company. Now, if it's your modem, you can go up another level from you to the modem or router or whatever back to the network company, but you cannot go further than that network company because it's entrenched on the network company right. Now, here's another legality. A company cannot go outside a contract with you. Enough said. Universal. Now, if you go further than a network company, tower or router into the network company, it begins illegal. That's on you. To hack legally or to do ethical hacking or black hacking, which is another legal version, white and whatever version I go by, you can hack your own section of the network. You cannot go further than the company. Or if you, like me, one of my people that I know own their own ISP, I can go into their network with their permission, written permission always, and then I can do changes or see what vulnerabilities in there. As a security administrator, your job is to attack yourself and find out what vulnerabilities are and defend against those and make sure no other vulnerabilities to have. Now, to identify you've been hacked, you should know the signs, and they've been around forever. That's phishing, which is people probing for information. You can get it in an email or in a phone, like me getting phone calls. I don't know how they think that work on me. But anyway, or a mysterious email, they can make a randomizer. You can go to a site that have it in the HTML, and then your name will pop up on it, and they will fish for information. Can't go no further than that. Then there's malware. It is nothing more than something to screw you over. It has no reason to want your information, nothing. phishing and malware are two different things. Malware is just to destroy you. Phishing is to obtain information from you through a social form of conversation. Let's call it that. And then there's virus, adware. Let's go by adware. Adware, if you visit a site, it's how some sites like YouTubers and stuff make their money. You know what ads are. I think the crap should be illegal, but whatever. I know it should be illegal, but if you go to a site, your IP address can pop up on that stuff. Since sites have to get your IP address just for you in order to send the stuff to you. And then on a site, it should have agreement. We're going to send your ads, but some sites don't do that. Now, a hacker can send anyone who go to that site ads, which people give you virus. Sometimes, if you go on a form and sign a form, something, you can get adware anyway. Spyware is a form of program to obtain information from you, whether it be by them doing it directly or by them making something to do it indirectly. Yeah, that's my stuff right now. Bricks. Now, virus is the same thing as spyware, but it spreads on its own accord. Every application you open up, a virus might go into it. When you close your computer, a virus might go into that. When you turn your computer, a virus might go into that. When you turn your computer off and come back on, a virus might go into that. That's because of virus and that. Malware is similar to a virus, but it's different since its purpose is not to obtain information. The malware is just to destroy your life. Virus is another story. Now, to protect that on Ccna app, it sets yourself up entirely before you connect to the network. This stops our signal from going disconnected, putting a fair device or something. Who knows? And then set up. But the problem with that is most hackers start near you and then go out. That's always the case. Always. So the best thing to do is just have a good security program just to fix that crap. Now, if your networks are ready to set up, the only way you can get around is change your network interface cord and your wireless cord. Unless it's both, which costs a lot of money. Or just buy a computer. With me, usually I make my stuff from scratch. From dirt, I mean. I can literally walk in the middle of woods, make my own city, my own network, and teabag afterwards. But I don't have time for that. I don't need to do it this time. I know I can. Now, send up your static IP address and your DHCP or the legend of ARP choose it for you. Find it out. But most, according to research, this is what I know. There are two most from, it's like getting robbed. People say there's such thing as random robbery, and there's another argument saying there's no such thing as random robbery. There's no such thing as random robbery. I know that. Hacking, there's no such thing. I did not know. Hacking happens in two forms of location, the smallest city or the biggest ones. Both of them have coincidence of as the hacker or a virus, starting near you and then moving out further. Always, no matter where you go. It can be sent from another country, but only pull your information up by having something near you to pull it. But anyway, that's my overview of Ccna. Bye.